Hello and welcome to another episode of our Women in STEM series. My name is Kaylee Peile and I'm the Director of Development for the Linda Hall Library. Today our guest is Julia Mount. She's a project engineer at JE Dunn. Julia, welcome and thanks for being here.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So let's start sharing a little bit about yourself. I know you've been at JE Dunn for a couple years now, but what has that career journey looked like for you so far?
Yeah, my career has been super rewarding so far. I've been with Jaden for 4.5 years. I started with them right out of college, graduated from Pittsburgh State. But yeah, I've had the opportunity to be on a lot of really cool projects in Kansas City, and I think the best way I could describe it is just rewarding.
And so what did that look like, what was the kind of thought process? Why did you choose engineering? Were you exposed to that as a young person? Did you have opportunities whenever you were a high school and college student? I know that you've had an internship. What does that kind of younger experience look like?
While I was exposed to construction, I would say a little bit growing up with some family members in the industry, it wasn't something that was presented to me as like, oh, you could do this, or this is something you should look into. Actually, my junior year of college, I was pursuing business management, and a lot of people started asking, well, what are you going to do with that? And I'm very type A, and that being a very broad major, I was like, well, I don't know. And that did not mesh well with my personality. So I went to Pittsburgh State, where the construction management program was really big. So when I was hearing about people like getting internships, getting really good full-time jobs right out of school, it kind of opened up my eyes to it. So when I learned it wasn't all about erecting steel or pouring concrete, and there was a business management side to it, I was really interested. So switched my major going into my junior year, which was overwhelming, but I shadowed a project manager before I really made the switch. So if you are in the slightest interest, I would recommend shadowing someone or getting that internship, because it really confirms that you can see yourself in that career long term.
That makes total sense. I love that you kind of talked about the different types of jobs that come within engineering. It's not just about the material necessarily, it's about all the other management and business pieces, because I think that sometimes is an afterthought. So I'm glad that you bring that up. So what was that experience with your mentor and as a young woman entering the field of engineering? I asked, from a architecture standpoint, some of the other industries in STEM, they've become a lot more female and women dominated in the last couple years. Is that the same for engineering? What has your experience been like?
In school, I was probably one of like 3 in my graduating class. So at that point, there wasn't a lot of examples of what it could be like to be a woman in construction specifically. But I took the leap of faith anyways. And then luckily at JE Dunn, there's really good representation there, both in leadership and forthcoming leaders as well. They have a employee resource group called Moment Connection that I'm actually the chair of in Kansas City.
Okay, wow.
So joining that group has really opened my eyes that you don't have to fit a certain stereotype, gender, race, etc., to be in this industry, and there's plenty of opportunities for women as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So what are some of the conversations that you're having within the employee resource group or across JE Dunn that you're really excited about in the coming years within the field of engineering?
Well, I think what's exciting is that the participation in females specifically is really growing. I think the word is definitely getting out to younger people that you can pursue this career. I think last year our internship class at JE Dunn and project management specifically was 50% female versus male. So that's totally above where the industry is as a whole. But seeing that in the new hires is really exciting. And then also the women who have been in the industry for 20 to 30 years are starting to become leaders in our company. So it's exciting to see a lot at the bottom, but also having the people at the top that you can look up to and see what the possibilities are.
So talk to me a little bit about that. What is that kind of trajectory for a woman? So you're kind of starting in your career now. You're saying that in 20-ish years we've got women who are now the leaders. What's kind of the in-between? What's the next step for you in your career?
Yes, so my next role, or the role that I'm pursuing, it'd be project manager.
Okay.
So there are a few steps, obviously, before you get into a leadership role that's backed by your title. But of course, I think women naturally become leaders. So to me, it doesn't matter what role you hold or what title you hold to be a leader in your company either. And Moment Connection has really allowed me to do that. And holding that chair position has allowed me to, I think, be a leader in the company without having that title, or the end goal being like at the decision making table.
Absolutely. And I think that's really important, having more women voices at that table.
Yeah.
So I know that J.E. Dunn has a really deep regional presence, but it also has a national one. Both regionally or nationally, what do you think we could be doing? What are we not doing as well? What could we be doing better for women in STEM across the board, but also with STEM with engineering? What would you like to see us do more of to support the next generation?
I always think this is an interesting question because Susan Schaefer, my mentor at J. Dunn, said something similar during Women in Construction Week when she was asked, what is J.E. Dunn doing to elevate women? And she said, women don't need to be elevated, they elevate themselves. And so I think that kind of answers that part of it. There's nothing special that we need to be doing to advance our opportunity, but I think focusing on the recruitment and attrition efforts at the collegiate level, but also having things like employee resource groups to give women a space to come to would help the attrition effort part of that.
Yeah, no, that makes total sense. And I love that point that she made. We don't really, we're supporting each other and doing those things all the time anyway, so that's a great point.
Yeah, and I think that's where messaging can get foggy a little bit when women are highlighted or these types of resources are available. It's not that we're asking to further our advancement or get special treatment. We just want the unconscious biases to be recognized in these industries that have been dominated by white males for the last 100 years. So just more like recognition of issues where we could improve.
Yeah. And where are some of the areas of improvement? Could you provide some examples for people who might be listening in who might not be familiar with construction and engineering? What are some of the issues that women are still kind of facing and having to discuss?
I just think representation is the biggest thing. Obviously, I've only had an experience at one company who I think does a really good job of not having the biases or any issues around women specifically. But most of the time, the issues I've faced, I think, have more to do with my age than my gender.
Sure.
Just being newer to the industry, some people may doubt me or just have some unappreciative comments. So overall, I think if people continue to shift with just how the world needs to shift on not only gender but race and other diverse roles, then I think we're moving in the right direction. It's going to take time, obviously, but I can only speak to my experience at J. Dunn too.
Oh, I can resonate with that. Being a younger professional, sometimes it can be a double-edged sword. And I'm sure that you've dealt with a lot of offhanded comments and awkward conversations when people who are superior feel that you maybe have not yet earned your seat. But I'm glad that you're here because I think this conversation is important, and using your voice is something that more women and younger women need to see.
Yeah.
So I'm thrilled that you're stepping up in a role at J.E. Dunn. But as you're kind of growing as a professional in engineering, both at a company level but also individually, what are some things that you're really excited about for our region when it comes to the future of STEM and women taking a firmer seat in that space?
Yeah. I think the future in women in STEM is really bright. I think there's only an opportunity in getting participation numbers up, et cetera. But there's just unique management styles that I think females can bring to the space. So I'm excited that those management styles are going to be more represented and recognized, as well as just diverse perspectives that will change all industries, I think.
Absolutely. I'm also excited because you're talking about, having a mentor. So many young people need a mentor, and that really helps them take the next step up. It's also really special that you have a woman mentor because it's a whole different lens. Is there anything that you're like, are you looking to be a mentor soon? Are there other ways that you can kind of help support the next generation in the line of work that you're doing right now?
Yeah, I think everybody has kind of a responsibility to recognize people coming into the industry and kind of spotlight people to any opportunity where you can support them. I think it's especially important to do that for diverse people, so women or people of different races. So yes, I would love to be a mentor. Sometimes I feel like I'm still too young and I'm still learning. But I think the best thing is when you have the opportunity to just be friendly with the people who are coming in and give them an opportunity that someone gave you, pay it forward. I think seeking out a mentor is really important, but you also want it to come naturally too. So by having more women pursuing that leadership path has the ability for the younger people to have more available mentors. I think that's something right now that's a struggle too, is there's only a handful of leaders who are females, and then there's like 100 of young female employees as well. So it's like they can't have 20 mentees.
That's a lot.
So I think as we shift to have more leaders, it'll open up more opportunity for that mentoring relationship, which will just advance us more as well.
I totally agree. And I'm really excited to see where you grow in your leadership for Kansas City. And I'm excited that we've connected. So thank you so much for the time, Julia.
Yeah.
This has been a pleasure.
Thank you.